Hey, Lane. Let's have a chat. Even from a distance, it is clear something is not right with Lane. Coming closer, you can see dried blood on his face and clothes, as well as a few discolored blotches that pass for bruises on troll skin. More noticeably, there is considerable damage to the man's left prosthetic leg, which he now tends to with tools as antiquated as the leg itself. What the hell happened? Nothing. It's nothing. Someone comes at me, thinks I'm weak, and I show him otherwise. Leaning to one side, Lane's crutch is caked in more blood and what appears to be bits of hair. Tell me who did this to you. Just a punk with some bad ideas. Forget about it. Are you sure you're alright? I've suffered far worse, as you might imagine, and I don't need you or anyone else babying me. I'll leave you be. Sorry, dude. That might have not been the best approach. How is Alexander doing? He is adjusting, with difficulty. Samuel shakes his head. Your friend Detroit took a chance in sending his nephew to us. I will do my best to justify his faith in me. Okay. Let's go talk to, fuck, what's that girl's name? Kami? Is that her name? I feel like that's her name. Is she not here? Am I in the right place? No, I was not in the right place. Where's oh! The kiddo's back. But he is untalkable. Alright. Hey, Kami. Hey there, Altuk was just telling me you were around. I was wondering if you might be willing to trade a story or two. What are you looking for exactly? The girl taps the finger thoughtfully against her chin. Well, you're new here. I know that you knew Monica, and I've got a vague idea about what went down the night she died, but I want to know what you think your most exciting adventure has ever been. Hang on. How the hell did you hear about that? She smokes playfully. Remember, I'm Altuk's ears and hands outside of the cafe. We share a lot of intel, he and I. So, what is the story between you two then? I suppose I can tell you. If the Monica thing was a secret of yours, it's only fair I share one of my own. I never really went to school. Pretty much been a street kid as long as I can remember. But there was so much to learn from people outside of school that I never really bothered. Makes it difficult to get a job, so as all good street kids do, I chose a place to haunt with my friends and always hang out there. That was Altuk's Cafe. He was super nice about me and mine. I felt more comfortable with him than I ever did mein Vater. Her eyes narrow only for the briefest moment at the word, and we talked a lot when I was waiting around for my friends. He must have been fairly comfortable with me too, otherwise he wouldn't have offered me a job. What is it that you do exactly? Technically, I'm the barista, but like I said before, ears and hands. I run his errands, I gather gossip, and sometimes I even make coffee. I much prefer his hookah options, though. Real coffee makes me feel paranoid. Speaking of which, I should probably get back to work. See you around. I didn't even tell you a story! You are wibbly wobbly, girl. I like that about you. Okay, where am I going now? Take the encrypted PDA. Optional. Take the U-Bahn to... Okay, so these are the side missions. So let's go talk to Amsel. Which means I'm sure after that we will talk to the lady that wants to talk to us, I guess? Because she's not... I guess she's not there currently. Hold on. Let's talk to Glory real quick. Why is that lit up for me? Do I have any Formula 17. So we've all seen this one floating about the tricks. This is some serious stuff. It's got heavy duty corporate and all over it. Not a lot of players could be behind something like this. Ares or SK, maybe one of the big pharma corps? Say Sharing or AGC? Of course, you can never totally discount the Azles either. Tolstoy, my esteemed colleague, this is indeed a recipe for some top shelf dreck. Westers from the Shadows say that this is sourced straight from the F-State. They don't know anything. Voting on SK. Okay, these are not super interesting, actually. Massacre at Shotness Schoolhouse. Really attention-grabbing headline, right? That's how the local news has been spinning it. Truth is, the schoolhouse was abandoned years ago and is being used as a humanist recruitment and training complex. Oh, that's what they're talking about. You're kidding me. A friend of mine was going there after class and he said it was just a community center. I know none of you are fans of humanists, but that entire chapter house got wiped clean. There were probably some kids in there off the street who were just looking for a hot meal. Screw humanists for exploiting them, but they didn't deserve death. Good riddance to those assholes. Streets are a little safer now that they're all buried. Went trolling on the humanist board, and that place was totally wiped out. Volker Stahl was in charge of that chapter house. Good riddance to that piece of track. Heh, just got offered a job to geek one of the Humanis' lieutenants. Seems like Stahl is dead and the power struggle is already underway. You taking the job? Not my kind of work, but I gave the Johnson an address to one of your Trick's dead jobs. Cheers, mate. Yeah. Just finished up drinks with a chummer who was doing some biz up there. The real story is that Humanis did not want to pay for the services rendered, and some hired muscle went crazy and took them all out. So the muscle decided taking the whole place down would get the Nguyen back? Well, that's one way to make a living, I guess. Even if your friend did get screwed out of a bit of Nguyen, I don't think Humanis would even be worth the bullets, especially that many of them. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Do I have any pay data? Nope. Cool. I have unread messages. The screen flickers to life and Waleed's face appears. From the shifting background and ambient noise, it's clear that this message was recorded on a portable device. Hoi, Meowlissa. Just wanted to tell you I've met with limited success in working on that stack of BVDs. It's a horny problem. But at least I'm making some headway. If you look on the table beside your DVD player, you'll find another recovered disc. I wasn't able to salvage all the files on it, but I think you might find what I did recover to be of interest. For my part, I'm going to continue working on the other DVDs. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't hold out much hope, though. They're all badly damaged and suffering from disc rot besides. I'll be in touch. My best to you and your team. Cool. Payback is sweet. The screen flickers to life and Maxim's face appears. He's wearing a broad grin and you can hear the sounds of celebration in the background. Hey there, Muscle. Not sure if Tuck gave me the right address, but I figured it was worth a shot. I don't know if you heard, but our favorite Poly Club got hit from all sides by the F-State today. It was glorious. Anyway, just thought you want to share in the good news, and thanks for your help back there. I don't think we'd have made it out of there without you. Oh. Okay. Really, thanks. Alexander to Hey, Meowlissa. Uncle Dietrich told me that I could message you here, so I figured that I should. He probably told you that I'm living at Samuel's, huh? Well, that's where I am. It's different. I'll give you that much. I like that I don't get pressured to hurt people here, so that's good, and nobody smacks me around, even though I can tell that a lot of the orcs and trolls want to. I do get yelled at a lot, and then called a lot of names, but I guess that making me feel bad about that kind of thing is all part of the plan. Life kind of sucks right now, but at least nobody's going to make me kill anyone. Uncle D says that it's going to get better, and maybe it will. I don't know. Anyway, what I mostly wanted to say was thanks for not killing me back at the Humanis compound. I had a gun on you, so you totally could have, but you didn't, and I'm really glad about that. Oh. Okay. I don't know about Alex. He seems like a good kid. Hey, Glory. Everything still okay with you? I'd still like to know more about the Chrome you're sporting. Not a story I'm willing to tell out of context. If you want to get into it, we're going to need to go back. Yes! Okay. Okay. Why do you care? There's no hostility in her voice. If anything, she sounds suspicious. Because I'm the leader of this team, and I need to know as much as I can about the runners who are working with me. I don't care, not particularly, but I am curious. Curious. She pauses for a moment, considering, then she nods. Alright, fine, we can talk, but we're doing it on my terms. This is a long story, Meowlissa, long and ugly and cruel. Are you sure you want to hear this? I'm getting comfy now. Okay. Please. Alright, I'm going to start at the beginning. Not for you, for me. I guess that it might help me to say all of this out loud. She takes a deep breath, then slowly releases it. When she speaks, her voice comes out in a cool monotone. My family lived in Stuttgart. It was a nice enough place, I suppose. My parents worked as wage slaves for IFMU. My mom was a good person. Once upon a time, my father was a decent person as well. That's what Mom always told me, but I never knew him that way. She pauses for a long moment. When she begins speaking again, some of the ice has fallen away from her voice. For the first time since you met her, Glory sounds alive. The dad that I knew was an old, damaged Euro war vet who turned to a hardline religion to make sense of the world. Fuck. In Stuttgart, that meant either the Ritter Christi or their fascist cousins, the Cruz Ritters. My father chose the latter path. Fuck. I still remember hiding in my room when my father had his Cruz Ritter brothers over for prayer group. They would drink and get rowdy, then spend an hour or two riling themselves up with talk about heretics and the devil's work. Then they'd go find some poor elf or dwarf, stomp the living shit out of him, and drown him in the Neckar. Great. Lynching. Cool. Meanwhile, I'd be holed up at home with Mom, who would commemorate the evening by drinking a bottle of wine and crying herself to sleep. I'm sorry, Glory. No child should have to grow up around that. Thanks, Meowlissa. This is difficult for me. Thank you for making it easier. Okay, okay. That wouldn't be the right tactic with Ager, right tactic with Glory. Cool. Anyway, aside from the fact that my dad and his buddies were a bunch of murderous assholes, life was pretty normal. I went to school, made friends, hung out with my mom, kid stuff. Then I turned 14 and everything went to shit. Glory pauses, then swallows hard. Ever so slightly, her cheeks flush red. Suddenly, she looks self-conscious, as if she's just snapped out of a trance. As quickly as it came, the flush of emotion disappears. Her voice frosts over. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Airing this stuff out is clearly helping you to work through it. Yes, it is. Glory stares at you through cold, dead eyes. But I'm not going to be able to get through this one in one sitting. You need to understand that. She turns away from you, her movements mechanical. Now, let's go back to the job at hand, shall we? Oh! You're building this up so much. And I want to know more about her because she's so fucking cool. Hey, Alyssa, do you trust me, Ager? She pauses for a moment, considering. Finally, she nods. Yeah, I do. You've heard that much. I haven't always agreed with your decisions, Meowlissa, but you've proven your competence. It's only fair for me to acknowledge it. Then tell me what happened to your team. This again, why do you even care, Meowlissa? Because it's pretty clear that if you had your way, you'd still be with them, and a good leader places a priority on knowing her team. She just slowly nods. Alright, I'll tell you. I suppose you deserve to know. What happened to us was Hoffman. He was a rookie, the kid of some big money corporate exec. He looked good on paper, but he made it through KSK training, so he was technically qualified to join a team, but he was way too green to fit in with ours. Still, he wanted to be a hero, and his family had enough clout to get him an assignment of his choosing. I don't know how many strings Hoffman's daddy had to pull to get him assigned to our team, but he pulled them. Hoffman became our 9th squad mate despite Metzger's objections. Anyway, flash forward a few weeks. We were closing in on one of the Russian mob's major trafficking operations. They'd been using a series of warehouses 15 miles from the border as a staging area for the convoys. Women and girls from Eastern Europe were being housed there. When the convoys came, they'd be crammed into cargo containers and hauled across the border into Germany. Go to any brothel along the border and have a look around. Chances are you'll find at least a few girls who spent some time in those warehouses. Slovakians, Hungarians, Poles, you name it. The mob had been smuggling them over for decades. We were in a position to derail their operation, and we weren't going to let our new addition slow us down. We hit them by surprise, and we hit them hard. Fisher and Braun managed to take down the Banshee that they had patrolling the site. Wolf had reconnaissance drones overhead providing battle attack feeds to the rest of us, and we picked off their gunmen one by one. They had numbers on us, but they didn't know where to hit us. We had eyes in the sky, and we had cover and concealment. Every time they thought they had a fix on us, we'd shift positions and hit them again. They might as well have been fighting ghosts. Then Hoffman broke cover and gave away our position. And after that, all hell broke loose. Wolf went down first. The sound of it will haunt me for the rest of my days. An explosion, a choked scream, and this long, drawn-out gurgling sound. When he died, his drones went down with him, and there were too many hostiles to track without them. I'll spare you the gory details, Meowlissa. Suffice it to say that my team was wiped out. Ager's face clouds again. You can see the tears beginning to well in her eyes. I watched Metzger die. With a visible effort, she clamps down on her emotions and calms herself. When she speaks again, her voice is flat. I took 3 rounds myself. I had to drag myself back across the Oder-Neisse line into Germany. I almost died. So that's the story. My KSK career died with the rest of the team. Our mission was illegal, after all, off the books. There was no going back for me, so I wound up here. She looks you in the eye. Her tone is impassive. Did that tell you everything that you wanted to know, fearless leader? Are you satisfied now? Yes. Thank you, Ager. So tell me, what's your takeaway from my tale of woe? I figure that you've got to have one. If it didn't matter what I think, she wouldn't ask me. When Monica died, you blamed me because I was new to the team. But I'm not Hoffman, Ager. Yeah, she nods. I know that. And you are right, to a point. I might have judged you too harshly because of Hoffman. But everything else that I said was justified. Giving you command of this team was a hasty decision made for the wrong reasons. I stand by that assessment. But between then and now, I've been watching you like a hawk. And you've grown, Meowlissa. You weren't the right choice to lead before. I still believe that. But you are now. Thanks, Ager. Good talk. She nods. Until next time. Cool. Okay, I'm really becoming endeared to these characters. I like them a lot. Dietrich, do you have anything going on? There was nothing about that run that didn't disgust me. What they did to that troll, it wasn't right, boss. On any level. I don't care what anyone else tells you. You listen to me, Meowlissa. What you did, killing that thing, it was the right call. Yeah, it cost us some new yen, but letting that thing live would have been a travesty. I'm curious, teacher. Why did you switch from fronting a band to running the shadows? Honestly, working this stage was getting boring, boss. Spitting and screaming at the world was fine and good when I was a kid, but it just didn't do it for me anymore. Dragon Slayer wanted me to fight a real enemy, so I left the band behind and I turned to the shadows. I don't know. Guess I figured that'd be the best way to find one. Considering current events, I'd say you're not wrong about that. Yeah, I guess not. It feels kind of daunting, truth be told, but it's exciting all the same. I've been looking for a worthy adversary for a while now. It's kind of satisfying having a white whale to chase. How long have you been looking for a real enemy? He shrugs. Not too long. Ever since I took down the last one. The last one? Of course. I might be able to sit around feeling pleased with myself if I follow the creator or the Moon Maiden, but the Dragon Slayer ain't that kind of idol. If I'm not drinking, I'm fighting. And if I'm not doing either of those things, I'm looking for a bigger, better fight to get in next time. Dietrich produces a flask from his jacket pocket and raises it in salute. It's a remarkably simple live to code by. Who was the last one? Gang boss. A great big orcish bastard called the Wildschwein. Led the local chapter of the Horde. The Horde! Wow, solidarity. I'd had my sights set on him and his for a while. They'd hurt a lot of people and I'd figured they'd pose a challenge. I wasn't wrong about that, but I took him out in the end. Dietrich, when does this pattern end? Well, boss, the way I figure it, it'll end when I pick a fight that I can't win. He smiles sadly. Might be this one. Maybe the next. It'll be hard to top a great dragon. That's the way the Dragon Slayer wants it, and who am I to refuse him? That's enough talk for today, boss. Besides, you've got other things to do, I'm sure. Alright, new DVD. We'll talk to Amsel, and then... Oh, there's a lot here. Yeah, we'll do this, then talk to Amsel. And... that'll be it for today. I was thinking about Adrian today. Not as he was when he disappeared, not as the fabled Dragon Slayer, or the big-time CEO of Deal Defense. I was thinking about him when we were kids. Well, I was always more of a kid than he was, of course. He's 15 years older than me. In a way, he was more like a parent than a brother. Winters pauses. His gaze drops to an invisible point on the table in front of him. So I was thinking about this time when we were on holiday. Our parents took us out the island of Pole to enjoy the beach. I must have been about 5 years old. Adrian was 20. It'd be his last family vacation with us. A year later, he'd begin his meteoric rise to fame and fortune. But on this trip, he was my brother. And when I fell out of the little paddle boat that our parents rented and started sinking fast into the Baltic, he was the one who dove in to rescue me. You saved my life that day, Adrian. I'll love you forever for that, and I will find you. I owe you that much. Display goes blank for a moment. Found an old news article that mentions Adrian from way back in 2036. It was printed in a financial magazine called Das Finance Wesson, one of those chic print-based mags that they produce for the retro crowd. There aren't any clues in here, but it's good to see someone else acknowledge his existence. SK stock suffers in post-buy. Yeah, I don't care, dude. That's Soderkrupp? That's Loftwing? Whatever his name is. But the other Great Dragons company. So there you have it. That's what they had to say about Adrian and mere 2 years after his disappearance. My brother, the footnote. While this track does load, it's clearly corrupted. The screen fills the meaningless stream of text. Yep, completely meaningless. Yep, meaningless. Dr. Vauclair, it is my sad duty to inform you that, by unanimous vote of the Aufsichtsrat, your position as CEO of Deal Defense will be terminated at the end of this calendar month. Your continued misallocation of company funds to pursue personal agendas cannot and will not be tolerated any longer. The supervisory board is not unsympathetic to your mental state. The trauma that you endured during your pursuit of the Dragon Fire Wing must have been enormous. But your continuing obsession with the dragon, the dead dragon I might add, has proven a negative influence on this community and an unjustified drain on company resources. The board wishes you all the best in your future endeavors. We have prepared a generous severance package to assist you in this time of transition. If there's anything more that we can do to help you, please don't hesitate to ask. And that must be when pretty soon after he disappeared. Okay, what's up, Paul? Amsel calls over his shoulder at the sound of your approach. His eyes are glued to his monitor's display. Meowlissa from Mueller should be on her way, but before you go to the meeting site, I have news. It can wait. Tell me what has happened. I had some trouble on the U-Bahn. Somebody set up an ambush. Absol pauses, then gives a curt nod. Truth be told, I've been expecting that something like this would happen. I'm just glad that you made it out alive. One of the attackers dropped this. Absol takes the PDA from you and examines it. Yes, I should be able to extract some information from this. Give me a moment. He plugs the PDA into his computer and goes to work. A few moments later, he lets out a grunt of dismay. Well, Meowlissa, I was able to recover a file, but unfortunately, that's all that I'll ever be able to pull off of this thing. All that anyone will, truth be told. It must have been running some kind of counter-intrusion software. The instant that I gained access, it bricked itself. Absol disconnects the useless PDA and drops it to the ground. It clatters to a rest on the metal floor. Don't litter in our home. One whole file? Nice job, Paul. What did you manage to pull off of it? A comm file. The audio was all here, but it looks like we've only got video from one side of the conversation. Let's see what we have here. Bachmeyer. The voice bleats out from Absol's speakers, filling the room. Audrun here. What's your status? Bachmeyer's image is garbled, but his voice sounds young and eager. Target acquired, sir. You were right. We spotted her on the U-Bahn, just like you said. Probably on her way to a job. As per your instructions, we're going to try to take her out on her way back. She'll be more vulnerable that way. Hopefully injured and low on ammo too, but only time will tell. Good man. Proceed as instructed. Will do. Cosman is rigging up an ambush spot now. We'll try to make it quick. Send me a comm when the job is done. Audrun out. Cool. We have his name now. Well, our scarred friend makes an appearance. Meowlissa, I suspect that Green Winter's predictions are coming true. I believe that Firewing is behind this. Be on your guard. You and the rest of your team. You made it through this attack relatively unscathed, but next time you might not be so lucky. At least now we have a name to put to the face. Audrun. That's not all we have. As I was saying when you first walked in, I have been productive as well. I was able to uncover some new evidence in your absence, and coincidentally enough, that evidence pertains to our scarred friend. You might recall that I said I dug into Audrun's skin grafts. Well, I did, and that search has finally borne fruit. One of my contracts outside of Berlin handles the paperwork for private hospitals all across Germany. It's a dull, boring job, but it does have its perks. Amsel pulls open a file on his computer. A medical chart opens up on the screen. As it turns out, our scarred friend's skin grafts were performed in a legitimate hospital after all. Some good news for once. What do they say? Well, they're rather light on identifying information. Our friend's name was listed as Max Musterman, the local equivalent of John Doe. But they do cover his injuries in great detail. Audrun's injuries were extensive. He had 2 broken ribs and a shattered pelvis, and he had sustained third-degree burns over 60% of his body. Most damningly of all, he was suffering from acute radiation poisoning. His body had absorbed over 5,000 millisieverts of ionizing radiation, a lethal dose without treatment. The information dries up at this point. We know that he was treated and discharged, but what happened afterward remains a mystery. Your thoughts? Hold nothing back. I like to hear everything that comes to mind. Well, those burns sound like Dragonfire, but if the Firewing burned Audrun, why would he be working for her now? I don't think that Audrun is working for the Firewing. I believe that he is serving her. On Green Winter's second DVD, he mentioned that there is a cult within the Sox that worships the Firewing, the Disciples of the Cleaning Fire. I believe that Audrun belongs to this cult. That's bad news. There's nothing more dangerous than a zealot. My thoughts exactly. A hireling can sometimes be bribed or reasoned with. A pawn can be liberated. But if the Firewing soldiers look upon her as a goddess figure, nothing short of killing her will deter them. And even then, that might not stop them. So, it is possible that Audrun is a dragon cultist. This seems to fit with much of the other information that we've uncovered. Did any other red flags jump at you? I just spent some time with the Sox. He's a cultist. The hospital couldn't ID Audrun. Either somebody covered his tracks for him, or he was living completely off the grid. Indeed, if Audrun were a citizen of the SOX, a glowpunk, his lack of identifying information would make sense. Amsel adjusts his glasses. It's a working theory, at any rate. So to sum it up, Audrun, okay. In my mind, all this reinforces one fact. We need to find Vauclair, and we need to do it fast. Agreed. Good. And that's all the more reason to gather Alice's fee as quickly as possible. There was a buzzing sound for... Fro and Mueller. Okay, let's give Dante a little pet. Let's give Dante a little pet. Yeah. Alright, that's it for me for today. That's that combat segment. And then the following combat segment. And then the following combat segment was enough for me today.